Hello everyone, welcome back to Chelsea Lee Reads. I'm Chelsea and today we're talking about what 25 books I really want to read in 2025. Okay, so we've all seen I want to read these books in 2025. We did 24 in 2024. I didn't, but people did. These books are in no particular order. They're just books that have been sitting on my shelves for far too long because I got them and I was like, ooh, yay, I'm so excited to read them. And then just sat there. Just sat there. And I'd look at them and be like, oh, I really need to read that book. And then I never read it. So that is the vast majority of these books that I'm about to talk to you about. I'm not going to talk a lot about them. I'm going to try and go quickly. Hopefully. So we'll see. If you are like me and have lots of books that are sitting on your shelves that you want to read, make one of these lists. Make it a goal for yourself to read these 25 books in 2025. Because some of these are also series. And I would love to read the whole series in 2025, but I'm just putting the first book. So here we go. The first book on the list, and it's really the only the first book on the list, because it's coming out so quickly, is Onyx Storm. I am so excited. I cannot wait. It's less than 2 weeks. I'm rereading Fourth Wing and Iron Flame right now to prep for the Onyx Storm release on January 21st. And I cannot wait for this book. I was rereading Fourth Wing the other day and I got to the part where, maybe spoilers, I guess, she gets her dragon, Tarn, and he talks to her for the first time. And I'm like, oh, I've missed you. I forgot how much I love you, Tarn. He's just the best grumpy old man, sassy dragon. He's great. Anyways, so after Onyx Storm is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak, maybe. This has been sitting on my shelf for a really long time. It's essentially a classic by now. So I need to read it. Everybody's read it. I need to read it. That's it. The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. Sort of the same idea as The Book Thief. It's essentially a classic. It's about books. It's about stories. It's been sitting on my shelf for forever. I need to read it. That's why it's on the list. The next book, which is also a series, and I'm only counting the first 3 in the series and not the, I guess, prequel series, is Caraval, however you want to say it. I have all 3 of these. They've been sitting on my shelf for years. I need to read them. Sort of along the same lines is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert is how I'm going to say it. This and her second book in the series have also been sitting on my shelves for years. And it's so pretty. Look at it. Look at it shine in the light. It needs to come off my shelf. I might like it. I might not like it. What? I might like it. I might not like it. We'll find out because I'm going to read it this year. The next book is Homework by Julie Andrews. Also been sitting on my shelf since it came out because I got it for Christmas the year it came out. I've read the first one. I loved it because I love Julie Andrews. Who doesn't love Julie Andrews? I mean, look at that. It's fantastic. I need to read it. The next book is the second book in a series, The Wise Man's Sphere by Patrick Rothfuss. I know the third book isn't finished, but I've read the first book. And I need to read the second because I really enjoyed the first book. So I'm sure I will enjoy the second. I have it. It's here. Never read. Look at that beautiful intact spine. I need to read it. Read it. The next one's quite large. The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I've tabbed it. Like, I went through and tabbed, like, this is like 30 tabs or something like that. If I read this much, like 50 pages, I think I broke it into like 50-page increments. I could do it in like a month and a half, reading that much a day. You see that little bit? A little bit. That much a day. I could read it in like a month. And yet, it's been sitting on my shelf forever. I'm going to stop complaining now. It's really big. I want to read it. Read it. The only Emily Henry that I haven't read is Happy Place. That's on my list for this year. I will read it. Period. The next one, I've never read anything by this author. This is Malice by John Gwynne. I hear nothing but good things about it. Sydney from Sydney Bookworm page. I'm so sorry. She's fantastic and I love her. And she loves this book. So I will probably really enjoy it. I think I have 1 and 2 of this series. So I need to read it. I love fantasy. It's great. This next book, not the last book, there's still a long way to go. The next book, I think my husband just got home and my dog's freaking out, is Hidden Empire by Kevin J. Anderson. This is one of my husband's favorite books in book series of all time. He asked me to read it. I haven't read it. We've been together for 16 going on 17 years. I need to read it. Come on. He read Twilight for me, so I need to read this for him. It's the least I can do. Or the next few I don't have. The next 3 I don't have physical books. It's When the Moon Hatched, Spark of the Everflame. I want to read this whole series. And Emily Wilde Encyclopedia of Faeries. I want to read that whole series too. And like When the Moon Hatched next book comes out, I would like to read that as well. But all of those I want to read this year. The next book is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. It's a 3-book series. I need to read that. I have all of them. Read them. The next book is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I enjoy Kristen Hanna's writing. I hear this one's really good, and it's just been sitting on the shelf. And again, look how pretty. It's so shiny. I need to read it. The next one is the Jade City series, the Green Bone Saga. I have all 3 of these. They're also just sitting on my shelf. By Fonda Lee. I need to read it. A couple of nonfiction books that I want to read this year is Michael Pollan. He's a very prolific food author. This is The Omnivore's Dilemma by Michael Pollan. I like food. I like to eat, as you can tell. I would like to read his books, but this one is on the list. Next one is No Bad Parts by Richard C. Schwartz. He, I think, just started IFS, Internal Family System. He started it, and it works for a ton of people, and I want to read this book because it's supposed to be really good. So this is on my list. Quicksilver, which I also do not have, but I have it on audiobook, and I think it's still on KU. So I will try to read it there. I've heard great things about it. I need to read it. Next book is The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin. Just for some more nonfiction and some more like life improvement books. So that's on my list. I sing. I am a singer. I teach people how to sing. I'm going to read The Inner Voice, The Making of a Singer by Renee Fleming, who is a very popular soprano. I've had this since I was in college a long time ago, and I haven't read it, so I need to read it. The next book is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I believe that's his name. I've heard great things about it. I enjoy science fiction. It's time to read that book. The next and last nonfiction book I have is Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking by Susan Cain. I consider myself an introvert, and I would really enjoy this book about introverts and why we are important to society. The last official 25 and 25 book I have on here is Dragonfly and Amber by Diane Gabaldon, which is the second book in the Outlander series. I read Outlander in 2024 and really enjoyed it. I enjoy the TV show. I would like to continue on with the series, and I think I have 1 through 4. So it would be an easy thing to do to read this series in 2025. I have 2 honorable mentions, which are not actually only 2, because one of them is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and all of the books in the series, which is a lot. So those are all on my list, but they're not technically on my list because it's a lot. And it would be more than 25 in 2025. So this series is on my list. And then the last one I have is Babel, also by R.F. Kuang, which was the Poppy War author. This is the first book of the month book I got. And that's been since 2018 when I started book of the month, I think it was. Well, maybe not that long ago. Maybe it was that long ago. I don't remember. No, 2021 maybe. I bet it was 2021. I could look and tell you, but I'm not going to. Maybe I will in the editing somewhere. I've had this on my shelf since then. This is the first book I got with book of the month for like $5, and I was so excited because it's a big book. It's been sitting on my shelf since then, and I need to read it. So that's my list. It's a lot of books, and technically it's like 50 in 2025, but that's okay, right? We'll find out. We'll see how many I read. Keep me accountable. Let me know what your 25 and 2025 are. And if you like this video, let me know. Like it, subscribe, make a comment, anything like that would be great. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next one.